Hello and good evening, friends, and welcome to the delayed season premiere of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday. I am your host, Anthony Florio. I am joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher. Not sure if Michael Bullock will be here. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we will most likely see him again Monday night for Ridiculously Raw. Apologies for the lengthy delay. Very lengthy delay because of the computer issues on my end. I mean, my browser wouldn't open, had to do a restart, and it took longer than I expected, mainly because it needed to do updates. It took a lot longer than I expected. It ran very slow, but thankfully everything's okay now. And so my apologies to all of you out there and to MF for the lengthy delay. So now that all that BS is out of the way, wow, week one last week started with Thursday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and wow, what a game! And the Bucs won that. And then in week one, definitely some surprises. Unfortunately, a surprise for me that I was not expecting. My Buffalo Bills losing, and a pleasant surprise for MF. His Dolphins went into Foxborough, second time in 3 years. And they came away as first place, sole possession of first in the AFC East. And some the New Orleans Saints looked very impressive. Aaron Rodgers, oh boy. You want to talk about hard times. Oh my goodness, that was hard to watch. And LA Rams, what can you say about them coming back? I mean, great performance from Matthew Stafford in his first start. And the Detroit Lions almost pulled off an epic comeback, but it fell just short against the Niners. A lot of statements were made. Philadelphia looked very impressive. And then how about Monday Night Football? Capping off what ended up being a banner week for week one. And then Monday night ended up being a banner night like you wouldn't believe. And not just with that, but also an amazing Monday Night Raw with the epic moment at the end of the show. You already know how that went down. Go into my archives, look up Ridiculously Raw. You know what we mean by that. And then week two got underway this past Thursday night. All right. You're thinking New York Giants, Washington football team. You're thinking, oh, this game's going to suck. Oh, no, this did not suck. It ended up being just like the last Thursday game with Dallas and Tampa. It ended up being a 5-star classic, chock full of Shakespearean drama at its absolute finest. And Giants thought they won, missed field goal, but then they got called for an offside, gave the football team another chance. And of course, as fate would have it, Washington hits the field goal, wins the game, and man, epic ending to an epic game. So there isn't much more to say on that. So let's now get into week number 2 of this NFL season, and the games that we're going to the rest of the slate. Unlike and if we're gonna get games like that on Thursday nights, who knows? Maybe the Carolina-Houston game coming up could end up being just another instant classic. And Houston definitely impressed as well. I forgot to mention that. I wasn't expecting much from them, and they very much impressed against Jacksonville. So there isn't much more to say here. So now let's dive on in to week number 2 of the 2021 NFL season as we continue on the road to Super Bowl 56 at the beautiful SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. And just, all right. So get into our first matchup. Well, we already talked a little bit about the Giants and the Washington. So now let's get into the Sunday slate of action. And we're going to start it off with our first matchup, which will be over on Fox. And it will feature the New Orleans Saints squaring off against the Carolina Panthers. This will be at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. and this will be over on Fox. And according to my announcer sheet, it will be Chris Myers, Daryl Moose Johnston, and Jennifer Hale. They will be on the call for that one. And okay, give me a minute here. All right. The series history favors the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans leads the series 27-25. Matter of fact, the Saints have won each of the last 4 meetings. They have swept Carolina each of the last 2 years. They met in Charlotte last year. New Orleans won 33-7. The Panthers have not beaten the Saints at home since 2016. 23-20 was the final there. New Orleans has won each of the last 4 meetings in Charlotte, and the odds and the spread favors. I believe it favors New Orleans here. Just want to double check on that. New Orleans is the favorite, and I'm not surprised, considering what they did to Green Bay. I mean, that's really, really not a surprise. So, but it is a small spread. Just trying to get my spreadsheet up here. All right, and for those of you who may be new to NFL Saturday, what we do on this show is, we go by what to watch for, a bold prediction, and what to know for fantasy, and some betting stuff for all of you gamblers out there. So, New Orleans is opening up as a 3.5 point favorite here. So, so with that being said, let's dive into New Orleans and Carolina to start off our belated season premiere of NFL Saturday. And both teams come in at 1-0, and here we go. So this will definitely some NFC South division implications in this one, albeit early, but it is what it is. So, all right. So New Orleans and Carolina. What to watch for? Panthers quarterback Sam Darnold was sacked only once, but hit 7 times by an average Jets defensive front. Now he has to go up against a strong Saints front that sacked Aaron Rodgers twice, hit him 7 times, and forced 3 interceptions. Darnold himself said Saints defensive end Jordan can wreck a game. How well Darnold handles duress will be key. Will be key for Carolina keeping pace. Bold prediction, cornerback Bradley Roby will have an interception in his Saints debut after arriving in a trade from Houston last week. The Saints defense has taken the next man up mentality to the next level early this season, dominating despite several key players missing from last season. And they might need to do it again with top cornerback Marshawn Lattimore now dealing with a thumb injury. New Orleans secondary will be tested by Carolina's dynamic receivers, which will be a key to this matchup. The stat to know, Jameis Winston looks to lead the Saints to their first 2-0 start since 2013. In 10 career starts versus Carolina, he has a total QBR of 40. For fantasy, Alvin Kamara has scored north of 19 fantasy points in 5 straight games against the Panthers, getting at least 20 touches of multiple touchdowns in each of those games. And the betting nugget, the Saints covered every game last season that went under the total 6, making them the only team in the league to do so. In week 1, they covered easily, and the under once again cashed. New Orleans opening up as a 60% favorite, according to the FPI. I'm going with the New Orleans Saints to win this game. I think Carolina will give them fits early, but I think New Orleans will pull away at the end. So I'm going to say the New Orleans Saints win this game. My final score, 30-17. New Orleans knocks off Carolina. So with that being said, good old MF Michael Fletcher, I know you're chomping at the bits. Come on in. Kicking it off with New Orleans and Carolina to start off our belated season premiere of NFL Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And first off, I do want to say that the way that New Orleans came out last week was absolutely shocking. I think none of us expected that New Orleans was going to come out that good. but Jameis Winston proved that he was deserving of this opportunity. A lot of people were saying, oh, it should have been Taysom Hill. Now that Drew Brees is gone, is New Orleans going to fall, lose a step or whatnot? And it did not look like New Orleans lost a step at all. Offensively, they look just as good. Defensively, they look even better than they did a year ago. Now you're starting to hear screams of maybe Super Bowl for the New Orleans Saints. Easy on that talk right now, guys. I think that's a little too early. However, New Orleans, and including my friend, very happy, very impressed, and the sky's the limit for the Who Dat Saints. Not being at home, got pushed out because of Hurricane Ida and the devastation that happened there. Our thoughts and prayers are always with the people in the Gulf Coast right now. They're still trying to recover, and it still is a dicey situation over there. But they have turned it around. They're looking great. And yeah, the Saints now go to Carolina, a divisional matchup. You kind of feel like, and the thing is, with Carolina, they had a good performance week 1 with a nice win themselves over the New York Jets. But Sam Darnold looked good. Christian McCaffrey, maybe he's got to step up a little more here in this game. But yeah, you've got to give New Orleans at least a good look and say that they're definitely the favorites. I think they will get the job done as well, Anthony. I got the New Orleans Saints winning the game as well. So nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Okay. Hold on a minute. I gotta pop a video. All right. Next up, and MF will start off on this one. This will be another Fox game here. We got the Cincinnati Bengals squaring off against the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field in Chicago. Home opener for the Bears. And this game will also be on Fox. Kevin Kugler, Mark Sanchez, Laura Oakman on the call. Normally, this would be a scenario for CBS because it's AFC at NFC, but this is one of 2 games that got cross-flexed to Fox. So I just wanted to let you know that. Cincinnati leads the all-time series 6-5. However, the Bears have won each of the last 2 meetings. Their last meeting in Chicago was in 2013. Chicago won that game by a score of 24-21. The Bengals last won in Chicago in 2005. That was a 24-7 final. And the spread favors Chicago. Chicago opens up as a 2-point favorite. So MF, Chicago, they hung with the Rams a bit, but they came up a little short. But how about the Cincinnati Bengals? What a gutsy win against Minnesota.
Yeah, gutsy win over Minnesota. Joe Burrow gets a major win, first win in week 1 as well. But the thing is with Chicago, there's already that debate. There's already a debate going on. When are we going to see Justin Fields? Andy Dalton is going up against his former team. He wants revenge. He wants to prove to the Cincinnati faithful that, that I was, you ran me out of town way too soon, that I could have been your quarterback for a number of years. So, Dalton really wants to impress and dominate. But if he starts out bad, if he looks bad in this game, the whispers and the cries for Justin Fields to be the guy is going to get louder and louder and louder. They're going to have to figure that out. For Cincinnati, you got to go status quo. A little bit of Joe Mixon, a little bit of Andy Dalton, throwing it downfield, stay consistent. Be the game manager. You don't have to go out there and play glory football. That's not what you need to do. Just be safe with the football. Be protective with the football. Do what you got to do. Move the ball downfield. Get it. Get the points and have the defense hold. But this is a little difficult because Minnesota's D, not that great. Chicago's D, little different because you got Khalil Mack And you know Mac is gonna be on the hunt. He kind of let a couple of bad plays get away. He shows his moments where if he breaks free from that old line, oh boy, it's gonna be a long afternoon. Because remember, Matthew Stafford had a good game, but there was a moment he got caught, Mac got him, and forced a fumble on him. So you gotta be very, very, very leery here. But I gotta go at home with Cincinnati to win this game because of the fact I just don't have that much faith in Andy Dalton. But I would not be surprised that if Dalton struggles, watch Justin Fields get in, and if Fields gets in, maybe this game flips and it goes Chicago's way. But I'm going to go with Cincinnati to win here, but I would not be shocked if this thing flips and goes Chicago if Justin Fields finds his way on the field, because you notice when Justin Fields got in, Chicago flipped. The switch got flipped and Chicago started playing really good. So maybe this could be that moment where either if Andy Dalton plays out and does good, then he saves himself for another week. But you know those whispers are going to start to get loud for Justin Fields to get on the field and become the starter of this team. Nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. Couple things. I stand corrected when it comes to the spreads. I read off the wrong sheet. New Orleans opening up as a 3-point favorite against Carolina, and Chicago opening up as a 1.5-point favorite against Cincy. So just wanted to let that out there. So with that being said, let's get into my thoughts on this one. And yeah, let me see. Cincy, Chicago. All right. What to watch for? Justin Fields is always the center of attention, as MF alluded to. The Bears' rookie quarterback played 5 snaps and scored a rushing touchdown in Chicago's Week 1 loss to the Rams. What will Fields do for an encore? The entire city of Chicago is on edge over the Bears. Veteran starter Andy Dalton, formerly of the Bengals, will need to play exceptionally. Hang on a minute. Will need to play exceptionally well to hold on to the job. Even that might not be enough to fend off Fields. Bold prediction. The Bengals will have 2 wide receivers with at least 75 receiving yards and look for the Cincinnati attack to attack the right sideline, the defense. Chicago surrendered 4 completions for 138 yards and a touchdown down the right sideline against the Rams, according to NFL Next Gen Stats. Stat to know, the Bengals have the NFL's worst road record of 3-20-1 since 2018. Quarterback Joe Burrow is looking for the first road win of his career. He is 0-5-1 with a total QBR of 45 and 6 career road starts. What to know for fantasy? Think the Bears, a 3-point favorite, will win this game? In Chicago's final 3 wins of 2020, David Montgomery averaged 146 total yards a game on his way to 24.6 fantasy points a game. And the betting nugget, Chicago quarterback Andy Dalton is 10-19 against the spread in his last 29 starts. FPI goes with Chicago to win 54.2%. I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game, though. I think Cincy pulls it out like they did last week. I'm going to say 28-24. Cincinnati gets by Chicago. So not much more to say here. Let's get into our next matchup. And the first one on the mothership side, on our side, CBS. It will feature the Houston Texans squaring off against the Cleveland Browns from Cleveland. I forgot the name of the stadium. I think it's First Energy Stadium or something like that in Cleveland. And my announcer sheet seems to be stuck at the moment. So just give me a moment. All right, there we go. On the call for this one for CBS, it'll be the legendary Greg Gumbel, along with his new broadcast teammates, Adam Archuleta and AJ Ross. And Cleveland opening up as a 13.5-point favorite. And even though Houston leads the all-time series 7-4, Cleveland, however, won their last meeting last year, 2020. They won 10-7 in Cleveland, snapping a 5-game losing streak to the Texans. Texans' last win in Cleveland came in 2014. That was a 23-7 final. So So with all that, Houston, Cleveland, here we are. What to watch for? How will Houston quarterback Tyrod Taylor perform in his return to Cleveland? Baker Mayfield, who took over for Taylor as a rookie during the 2018 season, praised Taylor for his leadership and mentorship this week. Taylor would probably love nothing more than to show Mayfield another thing or two on Sunday. Bold prediction, the Browns hold the Texans to fewer than 50 rushing yards. Taking out Taylor's 4 carries for 40 yards, Houston ran for 120 yards on 37 carries in week 1, 3.2 yards a carry against Jacksonville. But it's hard to see the game playing out the same way. And if the Texans are playing from behind for most of the tilt, it's easy to see how Cleveland's front seven dominates Houston's backs. Stat to know, the Browns did not lose consecutive games last season, and they haven't started 0-2 in the season since 2017. On the flip side, the Texans won consecutive games only once last season, and they have not started the season 2-0 since 2016. What to know for fantasy, including the playoffs, Kareem Hunt has scored 5 times in his past 5 games. He scored 13 times in his first 24 games with the Browns. Betting nugget, Baker Mayfield is just 4-8 against the spread over his last 12 starts. Fantasy managers should take note, however, if you think the Browns will cover this week. In those 4 games, Mayfield has completed 73.9% of his passes for an average of 289 yards. Cleveland is a 79.3% favorite according to the FPI. I'm going with the Cleveland Browns. I could consider this the lock of the week if I wanted to. I got Cleveland winning this one comfortably. I will say 34-17. Cleveland gets back on track against Houston. But MF, just like they did in the divisional game in January, they sure gave the 2-time defending AFC champ one hell of a try.
Yeah, they gave him a heck of a try, but the thing is, when you're dealing with Kansas City, you cannot let those type of mistakes happen because they'll kill you. And that's exactly what they did. And as far as Houston goes, you know what? A lot of people were talking about, this is not going to be good. This is going to be a disaster. They went up against the Jacksonville Jaguars and they crushed them. I mean, that was a dominating performance. I mean, you could not have written a better performance script for the Houston Texans. Now you got a major test against the Cleveland Browns. And like you said, you got too many weapons that Baker Mayfield will have. Now, the one weapon that he's not going to have is Odell Beckham Jr. That's a major loss. He's out, will not play tomorrow. That's a big deal. So, do I believe that that's going to hurt the overall? Absolutely not. You still got a 2-headed monster in the running back position. You're going to see Baker probably utilize his other weapons, and they'll use it sparingly. What is the defense going to do? How is the defense going to react? Because they kind of got embarrassed last week by Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. They made them look foolish in certain moments in the game where you're like, oh. So expect a bounce back from them. If they're able to utilize the run attack and neutralize and keep the ball away, maybe Houston has a chance, but I just don't see it. Cleveland wins this one as well. Anthony, let's move on. Next game.
Alrighty, and we're back to the Fox side of things for our next matchup, as it will feature the Los Angeles Rams squaring off against the Indianapolis Colts from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, Lindsey Zarniak will be on the call for that one. And the Rams opening up as 3.5-point favorites. Indianapolis leads the all-time series 23-19 with 2 ties. Their last meeting was 2017 in LA. Rams crushed the Colts 46-9. Last meeting in Indianapolis, 2013. Rams again crushed Indy 38-8. The Rams have not won in Indianapolis since 1986. That was a 24-7 final, and there you have that. So I think I covered all the schematics. MF, I mean, LA looked very impressive against Chicago in their first game. Matthew Stafford, very happy with this change of scenery. But Indianapolis, Carson Wentz, they gave Seattle 5th, but came up just a bit short. So something's got to give here.
Yeah, something definitely got to give there. But I kind of got a feel with the LA. I like what LA's doing. I love the way that they played, especially last week going up against Chicago. I'm going to say it, man. Matthew Stafford looks at home with the Rams. He looks. This is what I think a lot of people were hoping to see, and we knew Stafford was a good quarterback. He was a good player. He's a very good player. The thing was, he was in a horrible system with the Detroit Lions. Now you see, first game out, and he's flourishing. He flourished. He had absolutely a tremendous performance, no doubt about it. And now with Carson Wentz, yeah, it wasn't the best performance, but like you said, they gave Seattle fits, but they just could not put it together at the end. I got the Rams going into Indy, winning this game. I just think there's just too many weapons that the Rams have that Indy's going to have to navigate. Plus, there's some injuries on the Indy side that really got me concerned. I got the Los Angeles Rams winning this game. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. All right. What to watch for? Aaron Donald versus Quentin Nelson. It's the NFL's best interior defensive lineman against the league's best guard. Nelson, an all-pro in each of his first 3 seasons in the league, will have his hands full and might need help at times against Donald, a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Every team schemes for a player like Aaron Donald, Coach Frank Reich said. You can't scheme for him on every play because he's not at the same spot every play. He moves around. We have to be able to make some in-game adjustments. Bold prediction, quarterback Matthew Stafford will throw for more than 300 yards and 4 touchdown passes in a dominant offensive performance. Stafford is coming off a huge Week 1 performance that saw him pass for 321 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions in a 20-point win over the Bears. The Colts secondary proved suspect in Week 1, allowing the Seahawks to pass for 4 touchdowns. Watch for Rams coach Sean McVay to dial up the passing game once again tomorrow. Stat to know, Stafford hasn't started the season 2-0 since 2017. If he gets at least 317 passing yards against the Colts, he will have the most passing yards through the first 2 games of a season in his career. What to know for fantasy? Colts running back Jonathan Taylor has a touchdown, or the fantasy equivalent of a touchdown, 6 points, as a pass catcher in each of his past 7 games. Betting nugget, the Rams are 19-13 on the road since the McVay era began in 2017. Rams, a slight FPI favorite, 55.5%. I'm going with the LA Rams to win this game as well. My final score is going to be 27-17. The Los Angeles Rams knock off, in case you didn't hear that over the pop-up video. I got the Rams winning this game. My final score, 27-17. I got the Rams going into Indy, stealing one there. And we got Michael Bullock here. Michael Bullock is here. Let's get him on in. All right, Bullock is in. So Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get you caught up here. We're a few games in, so we had a slight delay because of some computer issues on my end. What else is new? So let's get you caught up here quickly. Only a few games here. New Orleans Saints against the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I got the New Orleans Saints winning this one.
Cincinnati Bengals against the Chicago Bears.
Man, that's a tough one there, but I slightly got to go with the Chicago Bears in this one.
Fair enough. Houston Texans against the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, obviously the Cleveland Browns. I got them winning this one.
And the game that MF and I just got into, the Los Angeles Rams against the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, the LA Rams. I got them. I got the Rams winning this one. So pretty much caught up. So Florio, I give it to you.
And keep your mic on, Bullock. You're going to start the next game because MF led off on the last one. So allow me to set up for our next matchup here, which will be back on the CBS side of things. We have the Denver Broncos squaring off against the Jacksonville Jaguars, TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, which is where you'll find this game. And this one over on CBS. And on the call for that one, it'll be Spiro Ditas and Jay Feely. And the spread favors Denver. Denver opening up as a 6-point favorite. Jacksonville leads the all-time series 6-5. They last met in 2019 in Denver. Jacksonville won 26-24. Last meeting in Jacksonville, 2016. Denver won 2010. Jacksonville last beat Denver at home in 2010. That was a 24-17 final. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, I mean, Houston, Jacksonville. Oh boy, what a putrid performance against Houston. But Denver, meanwhile, very impressive in the Meadowlands against the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, it was a putrid performance by the Jags. Trevor Lawrence, he had 3 touchdown passes in the game, but the thing is, he's got to cut down on some of those turnovers that he had in the game too. So, yeah, not that much of. Yeah, Jacksonville definitely has got to clean some things up if they want to have a chance here. But Denver, like you said, Denver looked very impressive last week in the opener. So I think because of that, I got to go with the Denver Broncos to win this one. I'm going to say my final score is going to be 27-20. So, Florio, it is yours.
All right. Let me see. Apologize for that. The thing keeps refreshing on me for some odd reason. I don't know why. All right. Denver and Jacksonville. Jacksonville. All right. What to watch for? The Jaguars' offensive tackles struggled last season, with Cam Robinson and Jawan Taylor combining to allow 27 sacks per ESPN Stats and Information Research. The duo got off to a solid start against Houston. Being pushed up on me. All right. But this week will be significantly harder. Even if Bradley Chubb doesn't play or is limited, Von Miller will be hard to handle. Expect the Jaguars to keep tight end Chris Manhertz in to help the tackles. Bold prediction, the Broncos defense will have 6 combined sacks and turnovers. Denver won't load up on the blitzes against Jaguars rookie quarterback Trevor Lawrence. And while the Broncos certainly see Lawrence's obvious talents, he will face a variety of 4-man pressures backed by a variety of coverage looks from Vic Fangio's defense. And if the Broncos keep the Jaguars in difficult down and distance situations, Lawrence could have a tough time finding room to work. Stat to know, Jacksonville, dating back to last season, is on the verge of losing 17 straight games, which would be tied for the 4th longest losing streak since the merger in 1970. The Jags have allowed at least 20 points in each game with a skid. For fantasy, Jacksonville running back James Robinson scored at least 10 fantasy points in every game last season as an unknown resource. He let managers down with just 8.4 points in week 1, and he faces a Broncos team this week that held Saquon Barkley to 26 yards on 10 carries last week. Betting nugget Teddy Bridgewater is 22-3 against the spread on the road as a starter, but one of his rare losses against the spread came in week 2 of last season at Tampa Bay when he played for Carolina. Denver, the FPI favorite, 62.7%, just about 63% going with Denver. I'm going with Denver as well. I'm going to say 27-13. Denver beats Jacksonville, starts 2-0. So MF, Denver and Jacksonville, one of our lower tier games on our sky, but Denver looked great against the Giants in the Meadowlands, whereas Jacksonville against Houston, ugh.
Yeah, no, and I think it's going to be the exact same thing. I got the Denver Broncos winning this game as well. The defense alone is going to cause a lot of havoc to that Jacksonville Jaguars team. So, no, nothing more to say, Anthony. Next game.
All right. Let's see. Next up. Oh, this next one. All right. Now, fans, my friends out there, you know, when it comes to all these games, we're 100% of the time impartial. But to say that MF and I are going to be impartial in this next game, well, that's going to be a bold-faced lie, because this is personal, very personal. My Buffalo Bills versus MF's Miami Dolphins. This game got cross-flexed to Fox. Why? Why does this have to be on Fox? Why couldn't this be on our side? This is tailor-made for the mothership. Would have been one of our top-tier games, but no. It's on Fox. It's Buffalo and Miami. Hard Rock Stadium, Miami, Florida, on CBS. Brandon, well, actually, I'm sorry, it's on Fox. I'm so used to this being on CBS, sorry. Brandon Gaudin, Matt Millen, Sarah Kustok will be on the call. And Buffalo opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. Series history, yes, it is Miami. Miami does lead the all-time series, that we know, dating back to their dominance in the old days. 60-49 with a tie in favor of Miami. However, the Buffalo Bills have won each of the last 5 meetings with the Miami Dolphins. They swept each of the last 2 years, won the second game in 2018. So last meeting in Miami last year, Buffalo escaped 31-28. The Dolphins last beat Buffalo at home 2018. That was a 21-17 final. And I believe I have covered all of the schematics. So with that, Buffalo and Miami. Oh, yeah. I'll get to why it's personal in a minute. But first, I'm going to get the professional stuff out of the way, the analysis, What to watch for. The Dolphins have yet to solve Josh Allen over the course of his career. In 6 career games, Allen is 5-1 against Miami with 1,552 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, and just 4 interceptions. Bold prediction, Allen will throw at least 3 touchdown passes, and the Bills' offense will get back on track. For whatever reason, Allen has had the most career success against the Dolphins. He has thrown for at least 3 touchdown passes in 4 of 6 games against Miami and has averaged 8.7 yards per attempt in those 6 games. Miami's defense, especially the secondary, could cause issues for the Bills, but the Dolphins won't be able to replicate the Steelers' pass rush. Stat to know, since last season's Week 2 game at Miami, Allen's QBR is 78, which ranks 3rd behind Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. Allen also has thrown more touchdown passes in 16 starts, 36, than he did in 28 starts, 32, before that game. For fantasy, wideout Stephon Diggs had 15.9 fantasy points, 9 catches for 69 yards in the Bills' Week 1 loss to Pittsburgh. Now he'll line up against Miami corner Xavier Howard, who allowed just 23 yards on 4 targets as the nearest defender last week, according to NFL Next Gen Stats. Betting nugget, the Dolphins have covered 5 of the past 7 meetings with Buffalo that did not occur in Week 17. This is the closest FPI favorite. Buffalo is the FPI favorite, but it's only 50.2%, which means Miami is 49.8. That is how close this is. All right, so with that being said, I want this one. I need this one. Because after that, it was a tale of 2 halves when it comes to Buffalo and Pittsburgh. In the first half, Buffalo played like the team that went to the AFC Championship game, and in the first half of that game. And Pittsburgh, well, they played like the team that went on that major downward spiral after starting 11-0. But then the second half happened. And in the second half, well, it was a complete reversal. Pittsburgh played like the team that started 11-0, and Buffalo played like it did in like the second quarter and onward in the AFC Championship game after that hot start. They sputtered. So with that being said, and I'll tell you what, I had every right to be mad, but I wasn't mad. I was just disappointed. But it is what it is. Thankfully, we have an extra game this time around, so it's an extra opportunity. So I think we'll be fine. I know we'll be fine, and that's all there is to say on that. And we'll give it to MF in just a moment, and I know MF's going to have plenty of counterattack on this, and I'll tell you right now, MF and I are going to be on opposite sides of the spectrum. Michael Bullock, though, is going to be the tiebreaker. So Bullock, think long and hard. So with that, of course, I'm going to go with my Buffalo Bills to win. I think it's going to be another high-scoring game like it was last year. I say Buffalo will win 31-24. Buffalo gets back on track, and hopefully that's when things will start to get better in Orchard Park. And even though this game's in Miami, and we can get back on track and be that sexy pick that a lot of the experts made. So there isn't much more to say on this. I got Buffalo winning 31-24. MF, your boys, Big win in Foxborough over Bullock's Patriots. You got bragging rights on him for now. Second time in 3 years, your boys steal one there. But like I said in the Facebook Messenger, you're in sole possession of first for now. Enjoy it, because you know we're coming in pissed off after that putrid performance in the second half.
Oh, without a doubt. And I think a lot of Dolphin fans realize it. And that's the main thing. We realize it. But here's the thing. We got a better defense than we did last year. We were ball hawking. We forced 4 fumbles, recovered 2, forced 4 fumbles. On top of that, with everything else that has happened, and the thing is, Pittsburgh gave us a blueprint on how to handle Josh Allen. He laid the blueprint out. And the worst thing is that how are you going to stack when you got Xavier Howard on one end, Byron Jones on the other end, and you got one of the McCourty brothers and maybe Eric Rowe as the 2 safeties? Good luck trying to throw downfield on all 4 of those boys. This is not the same Miami Dolphins. And on top of that, Miami's philosophy this time around, and I'm gonna be real honest with you. We're gonna try to beat you, not in the way of outscoring you. No. We're gonna go and we're gonna flip the script a little bit. Our defense is gonna lead the way and get to whatever you need to get. Now, you're going to get your passes, you're going to get your yards, you're going to get your points. I get that. There's no doubt about it. Allen's probably going to carve us in certain areas. But when the game gets tight, when the moment starts to rise, this is how we beat all those teams. Every team we beat last year, we had to finesse our way to victories. And that's exactly how they did it. We were not scared of going into Gillette, going against Mac Jones. And you saw what he did. He got his yards. He carved for about 300. He did a great game, called a great performance. But when the moment came, the defense stepped up. And they absolutely won that game for Miami. So, how do we do it this time around? The same way. Tua's got to be a game manager. He got 2 touchdowns, which was incredible. Great strategy early in the game. But the thing is, we got to be consistent. And that's the one thing that we were having. We had problems being consistent on a number of factors. And that's why we got ourselves in trouble the way we did. So, we got to start strong like we did with that first drive. Got a touchdown right out of the gate. That's how you establish. So, we got to get that. Force Allen into uncomfortable situations. This is where, I'm going to say it, we might have to do 0 package blitz just to throw something at him. Give him some different looks. 4-3, 4-6, linebacking, dime package, 0 blitz. And let me tell you, when the one time they did the 0 blitz on Mac Jones, they got the sack on him, but then got called for a stupid roughing the passer because they went low on the legs. BS my foot on that call. But anyway, that's what you got to do with Allen. What you do is you basically don't play zone. Whatever you do, don't play zone. If you go man-to-man, Allen ain't going to get far with anything because that defense blankets. If you really want to see something, and I was actually watching a couple of YouTubers who are Miami Dolphin fans, and they were showing different coverages, different things that I noticed that if Miami plays the same style against Buffalo, we got this in the bag. Like, there's no way Buffalo wins this. So, Obviously, Tua's got to play better. The running game needs to be established. And the thing is, Myles Gaskins ran for 5.7 yards per carry in the game against New England. And that's New England. Buffalo's defense, they got carved. You could tell. When Najee Harris got the football, he was establishing the run. The O-line's got to step up. That's all I can say about this. Miami's at home. This is the home cooking. I believe the Dolphins will get the job done. It's not going to be high scoring because I don't think Miami's defense will allow this to be high scoring. 21-17, Dolphins escape again with a win, 2-0 for the Dolphins this season. Mike Bullock, you got the tiebreaker, bro. It's all yours.
Oh, somehow I had a feeling that it was going to fall in my lap here. So, yep, I have to be the one to break the tie here. Man, Fletch makes a lot of good points of what the Dolphins have to do. I mean, that's what they got to do. But to me, I mean, Buffalo needs this more. I mean, especially after, I mean, they had a good performance in the first half against the Steelers, but that second half was pretty bad. And you don't think that the Buffalo Bills are going to be mad about what happened there? I think they will. And I expect Josh Allen to have a bounce-back performance. I think you're going to see him try to get the ball to Diggs. So, yeah, I got the Buffalo Bills bouncing back and winning this one. I'm going to go 23-20. They barely hang on to beat the Dolphins. So, nothing more to say. Florio, let's move on.
And it's only fitting, Bullock, that we move on to your team, the New England Patriots, because they're the subject of our next matchup here, and they're going to be squaring off against the New York Jets. Home opener for the Jets, MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, in the Meadowlands. And this will be on CBS, and also it'll be on our local CBS affiliate, WPRI 12, here in our neck of the woods. And just give me a moment here. All right. As I try to find it. All right. And for the second straight week, Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins will be calling a Patriot game. They were in Foxborough for the Patriots game against the Dolphins. This time they'll be in the Meadowlands for the Patriots and the Jets. Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, Melanie Collins. New England opening up as a 6-point favorite, and New England leads the all-time series 67-53 with a tie. Well, they've just straight up owned the Jets. They have won 10 straight against the Jets. They have not lost to the Jets. And the last time the Jets beat the Patriots, it was also the last time they beat them at home. It was in 2015. Jets won 26-20 in overtime. But the Patriots have won the last 5 meetings in MetLife, including a very close 30-27 win on a Monday night last year. So MF, started off with you here. Patriots and the Jets at MetLife. Both teams, well, it's very significant. Someone's got to give here because winner goes to 500, loser gets stuck in the basement in the AFC East.
Yeah, and that was a devastating, like we said, New England had the game won over Miami. I'll openly admit it. If it was not for that costly fumble at the end, Miami's probably not walking out with that victory. And we're looking at Miami and Buffalo at 0-1 going into this game. But the thing is, New England, Mac Jones played a good game, solid performance. The Jets, they had a good performance as well, but they just couldn't get over the hump over Carolina. Now something's got to give. You kind of got a feeling like Mac Jones is going to continue to keep the ball rolling and everything else. You got to limit the turnovers and the penalties. penalties really killed New England. 8 penalties for 84 yards. That is un-Belichick. Like, you never see anything like that happen with the Bill Belichick-led team. So they got to clean up the penalties. They got to clean up the turnover mistakes. Defensively, they did all right. They had one INT, but it did not hurt them at the end. So I kind of feel like New England's going to bounce back. They're going to be a little angry. So I got the New England Patriots winning the game as well. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, like you said, Fletch, the Patriots had this game last week. But like you said, the thing that really killed them, penalties and turnovers, especially that turnover by Damian Harris when it looked like they were going to drive for the winning score. But Damian Harris put the ball on the ground, and that pretty much did it. So, yeah, Belichick and the coaching staff is going to clean up all those penalties and the turnovers there. And, yeah, Mac Jones had a solid NFL debut. And, yeah, so to me, I got to go with the Patriots as well. So my final score, I'm going to go 23-17. Florio, it is yours.
Okay. Okay, it's refreshing again, of course. All right. I agree. But before I get into that, here come the rookie quarterbacks. Zach Wilson and Mac Jones, coming off encouraging openers, meet for the first time in what should be a long personal rivalry. This is a new feel for the Patriots-Jets series, which was dominated by a veteran quarterback, Tom Brady, as Bullock knows. For 2 decades, the Jets have cycled through a handful of rookies over the years, but Jones is the Patriots' first rookie starter since Drew Bledsoe in 1993. It's the first time in the 62-year history of the rivalry that rookie quarterbacks are starting against each other. That was what to watch for. Bold prediction, Patriots will make running back J.J. Taylor active as a result of rookie Ramondre Stevenson's struggles in the opener, and Taylor's presence as a complement to Damian Harris and James White will be key against the Jets defense that blitzed 41.7% of the time in the opening week, the 5th highest total in the NFL. Also, Jones will throw multiple touchdown passes and continue to refuse to keep the footballs when teammates attempt to hand them to him. Stat to know, the last time a rookie quarterback beat the Patriots was Miami's Tua Tagovailoa last season in Week 15. The Patriots, however, were 9-0 in 9 previous such games. For fantasy, Corey Davis was WR16 for an extended stretch last season, Weeks 8 to 15, and he showed out last week with 26.7 points against the Panthers. Betting nugget, the over cashed in both Patriots-Jets games last season after being a winning ticket just once in the 4 seasons prior. New England is the FPI favorite, 64.8%, about 65% going with New England. I'm going with New England as well. I think they'll win a smidgen comfortably, 30-17. New England beats the Jets. So not much more to say here. Let's move on. Next up, we have. Here's one of the games of the week for sure. Battle of 1-0 teams. Both teams winning last week. Good one. Should be a good one here on the NFC side over on Fox. The San Francisco 49ers squaring off against the Philadelphia Eagles. Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. Home opener for the Eagles. Second straight road game for San Francisco. But they will be back at home next week when they host Green Bay on Sunday Night Football, no less. This game will be on Fox, and on the call for that one will be Adam Amin, Mark Schlereth, and Shannon Spake. San Francisco opening up as a 3-point favorite. San Francisco leads the all-time series 18-14 with a tie. Eagles, however, have won the last 2 meetings, including in San Francisco, 25-20 last year. Eagles won the last meeting in Philly, 33-10 in 2017. 49ers last one in Philly in 2011. That was a 24-23 final. So I believe I've covered all that. So Michael Bullock, interesting battle here. San Francisco and Philly, both teams 1-0. Something's got to give here.
Yeah, something definitely has to give here. Yeah, I mean, obviously, San Fran with a pretty good win over the Detroit Lions last week, and then of course what Philadelphia did last week. So, but when it comes to the quarterback edge, I gotta give the slight edge to Jimmy Garoppolo here. I mean, Jalen Hurts will make some plays, but I just think the 49ers to me are the better team. So I got the San Francisco 49ers winning this one. So nothing else to say. Florio, what's yours?
What to watch for? This matchup is all about the explosive plays. Philadelphia's defense did not allow a single pass play of 20 or more yards in week 1 against the Falcons, while the Niners offense was third in explosive pass plays against the Lions with 5. Eagles corner Darius Slay likened 49ers receiver Deebo Samuel to a faster Anquan Bolden and said the key to success against such a dynamic offense is to read its keys and stay disciplined. Bold prediction, the 49ers running back Elijah Mitchell will go over 100 rushing yards for the second straight week to begin his rookie season. The 6th-round pick was a relative unknown a week ago. Then he set a record for rushing yards, 104, by a Niner in his debut against the Lions. The Eagles should be a bit better slowing the run than Detroit was, but this is a defense that looks vulnerable at the second level, which could make them susceptible to Mitchell's one-cut-and-go ability. Stat to know, Samuel had a career-high 189 receiving yards in week 1. If he reaches 100 yards against the Eagles, he would have the most receiving yards in the first 2 games of the season by a 49er player in team history. Go figure. For fantasy, from 2017 to 2020, the 49ers ranked 4th in running back fantasy points. Coach Kyle Shanahan manages a running back fantasy factory and will have to work more magic with Raheem Mostert out for the foreseeable future. Betting nugget, Jimmy Garoppolo is 8-4 against the spread in regular season road starts since 2019. The FPI prediction goes to San Francisco, 52.8%, about 53% going with San Francisco. I'm going to go with San Francisco here. I'm going to take a chance here. This is a very tough game to call. This may be the toughest one to call, but I'm going with San Francisco to win. I'm going to say 30-24. San Francisco gets it done against Philadelphia. So, MF, tough one to call, but who you got?
Tough one to call, but I'm also going with the 49ers. I think their running attack alone will give them everything that they needed it to go. You did talk about the 6th-round draft pick that really exploded a week ago. I think he'll continue the hot streak with Mostert now out. I'm actually going to agree with you. I'm going to go with the 49ers as well. So next game.
And it's our final 1:00 game, and this is surprisingly the Tony and Mikey game of the week. And you guys, and I know what you all are thinking. You're thinking, what? These guys aren't doing Chiefs and Ravens? No, we go by records. And this is the only game on the AFC side with teams with 1-0 records. So this is now our game by default, if you can believe it. It's going to be a renewal of one of the greatest rivalries in NFL history. The Las Vegas Raiders squaring off against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. This game on CBS, Iron Eagle, Charles Davis, Evan Washburn on the call. And Pittsburgh opening up as a 6-point favorite. Series history favors the Raiders 13-10. They last met in 2018 in Oakland, and the Raiders won 24-21. Last meeting in Pittsburgh, 2015, Steelers won 38-35. The Raiders last won in Pittsburgh back in 2009. That was a 27-24 final. So I believe I've covered all the schematics. So now it's time for the Tony and Mikey game of the week. Go figure. What to watch for? The Steelers confused Josh Allen and the Bills offense with their defensive versatility, moving safety Minkah Fitzpatrick all around the field. Look for them to weaponize versatility again with guys such as Fitzpatrick, Cam Sutton, Trey Norwood, and keep an eye on outside linebackers Melvin Ingram III, T.J. Watt, and Alex Highsmith trying to minimize tight end Darren Waller, a player who certainly has their attention after 19 targets a week ago. Bold prediction, Max Crosby and T.J. Watt will repeat their respective opening week performances and both get 2 more sacks apiece. The Raiders and Steelers offensive lines are works in progress. But Crosby is coming off AFC Defensive Player of the Week honors, while the ink on Watt's 4-year, $112 million extension is still wet. Oh, to be a young pass rusher in this game. Stat to know, the past 4 meetings between these teams were decided by exactly 3 points. There have been only 2 series in NFL history featuring 5 straight games decided by exactly 3 points. Also, keep an eye on Pittsburgh's Ben Roethlisberger. He needs 3 passing touchdowns to become the 8th NFL player with 400 passing touchdowns. What to know for fantasy? Steelers wideout Chase Claypool's ceiling captures headlines, but after week 1, he has now failed to score more than 10 fantasy points in 5 of his last 7 games. Betting nugget, the Steelers have had just 1 losing against the spread season at home since 2010. They went 3-5 against the spread at home in 2017. Pittsburgh is the FPI favorite, 64.5%, about 65 going with Pittsburgh. I'm going with Pittsburgh as well. 31-23, Pittsburgh beats Vegas in a renewal of one of the great rivalries. MF, I mean, back in the day, this was, I mean, mainly in the 70s, this was the most fun rivalry in the NFL, the Raiders and the Steelers. May not have the same luster as it did in the 70s, but nonetheless, Raiders, Steelers, the new Tony and Mikey game of the week. I would have called you crazy if you had told me it was going to be, but nonetheless, here we are. So, hello, friends. Do that thing I like.
Yeah, and this is going to be very interesting. How is the Raiders going to react? Because they just knocked off the Ravens, and nobody thought that was going to happen. Look, Derek Carr hung in there, played a tremendous game, and like you said, now you're going up against a Pittsburgh Steelers defense that's loaded, explosive, even, and you just kind of have to feel like this is going to be an easy game, but you never know how this game will play out. But I'm going to go with Pittsburgh as well. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the I mean, this is definitely going to be a really good game here. I mean, this was definitely going to be something good here, but you know what? I got to go with the Raiders. I mean, I was really impressed with their performance in that Monday night matchup against the Ravens. So I'm going to go with the Vegas Raiders here. So, Florio, it's yours.
And now we're going to get into the late games now, and there's 4 late games, 2 405 games, and 2 425 games, and we'll get into the 405 games first. Both of these will be on Fox. First up, we have the Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the Arizona Cardinals from State Farm Stadium, formerly the University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. And this game will be over on Fox. And on the call for that one, it'll be, Gus Johnson. Gus Johnson with Aqib Talib and Megan O'Leary, formerly of the UFC. She did some work with the UFC. She hosted a show for them some time ago. But yeah, Gus Johnson working this game. How about that? Arizona opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. And I think I've covered all the schematics here. Oh, hold on. No, I haven't. The all-time series history, that favors the Minnesota Vikings 15-11. They last met in Minnesota's won the last 2 meetings, but both of those were in Minnesota. They last met in Arizona in 2015. Arizona won 23-20. Minnesota has not won in Arizona since 2008. 35-14 beat down there. So not much more to say. MF, you want to talk about statement wins. I don't think any team made more of a statement win last week than the Arizona Cardinals, kicking the door down, making themselves at home at Nissan Stadium in Tennessee, keeping Derrick Henry in check. Chandler Jones alone had 6 sacks. What?
Yeah, 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and he wreaked havoc all over Derrick Henry, all over Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, and the thing was, he could get away with it because who's on the other side of the line? J.J. Watt. So when you start double teaming one guy, somebody else is going to get free. And now, if you try to go after Chandler Jones, Watt could get at him. Another guy could get at him. You open a Pandora's box. You can't cover all these guys and think, oh, we can get away. No, you can't. And this was the reason why they did what they did on the offseason. This is why they got J.J. Watt, because they know that bolsters your defense, and now we just saw what they are capable of. And let me tell you, this is the sleeper team in the NFC. And now everybody was put on notice. Don't sleep on the Cardinals. They are legit. If Kyler Murray and those guys get going offensively, you might have a Super Bowl contender. You might. This might be, but they might be on the verge of a Super Bowl run. And the only time they ever went to the Super Bowl was Super Bowl 43 when they played against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All the fun we had with that one.
Yeah. A great game. One of the best Super Bowls we've done. And we've had quite a few Super Bowls where they've been amazing. But that game really stood out. There was a couple of moments in that Super Bowl that really stood out for the both of us.
James Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
The 100-yard fumble. But, of course, the one that really stands out more than anything else. One of our greatest calls of all time.
Yep.
Roethlisberger fires for the end zone. You yell out touchdown, and I say touchdown Pittsburgh. Santonio Holmes.
Yep. And I turn around with the unbelievable.
And then I follow up the holy cow, are you kidding?
Yep. So no, Arizona's real, guys, and Arizona's a threat, and I really believe they're going to show it off again. I think they're going to have yet another dominating performance that's going to leave us saying, oh my God, this team is for real. Watch out, NFC. I think they're going to do yet another statement win this week. Arizona wins, and it's probably not even going to be close. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, that Cardinal defense, especially with Chandler Jones, was just wreaking havoc on the Tennessee Titans last week, and whether it was Derrick Henry or whether it was Ryan Tannehill, I mean, they wreaked havoc. Chandler Jones, I mean, one of the best games I've ever seen from him. I mean, 6 sacks, goodness gracious. I mean, yeah, if you try to double up him, J.J. Watt could possibly get loose. And, yeah, this Cardinals team, I don't think we should sleep on them, because if they can put it all together, we could see them as a possible Super Bowl contender. So I'm actually going to go with the Arizona Cardinals to win this one. So nothing else to say. Florio, it's yours.
Like I said, no team, something that we're going to do for both of our football shows this year, statement wins. And I don't think any team made a bigger statement than the Arizona Cardinals did. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Not even close. What to watch for? Sure, all eyes will be on Kyler Murray just because of his unpredictability and excitement levels. But the most important aspect to watch on Sunday is how the Cardinals' front seven pressures the Vikings' offensive line and whether it can get to Kirk Cousins, who threw for 351 yards and 2 touchdowns last week. If the Cards' defense plays like it did in Tennessee and Chandler Jones goes for another few sacks, then Minnesota's offense will be stuck in the mud, much like the Titans were. Bold prediction, Jones and J.J. Watt will each get 2 sacks. Penalties won't hurt Minnesota's offense like they did in week 1. That responsibility belongs to the Cardinals' defensive front, which will wreak havoc against the Vikings' struggling O-line. Unlike the Titans, Minnesota will attempt to help its tackles against Jones, but it won't be enough. Stat to know, Murray threw for a career-high 4 touchdown passes in week 1 versus the Titans, with 3 of those coming on third down. He is the first Cardinal player with 4 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown in a game since 1962. Charlie Johnson was the guy's name. For fantasy, Vikings wide receiver Adam Thielen has seen an end zone target in 9 straight games. He has 9 touchdowns over that run. Betting nugget, unders are 10-2-1 in Arizona games played in the first month of the season since 2018. FPI prediction goes to Arizona. Arizona 61.1% for Arizona. I'm going with Arizona as well. 34-17, Arizona beats Minnesota. So not much more to say. Next game, 4:05, the other 4:05 game on Fox, as it will be the Atlanta Falcons squaring off against your reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Raymond James Stadium, Tampa, Florida. second straight week for the Bucs at home. And this will be over on Fox, of course. Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olson, Pam Oliver. They will have the call for that one. Tampa Bay opening up as a 12.5-point favorite in this one. And Atlanta leads the all-time series 28-27. However, Tampa Bay won both meetings against Atlanta last year, including in Tampa Bay, 44-27. Atlanta last won in Tampa the year before, 2019, a 28-22 overtime win for Atlanta. So I believe it's Michael Bullock who gets it first, which is only fitting. Michael Bullock, your old friend Tom Brady, your BFF, he picked up right where he left off from last year against Dallas. I'm sure he'll do the same thing against Atlanta, right?
Oh, yeah. I think he'll definitely pick up right where he left off from last week against Atlanta. I mean, this guy's 44 years old, and all he did was put up over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game. I mean, ho hum, typical Tom Brady. But yeah, I mean, yeah, and you want to know who's not happy to see him? The Falcons, because you know the Falcons are still having nightmares about Super Bowl 51, because, as I stated before, they haven't been the same team since what Tom Brady and the Patriots did in Super Bowl 51. So, and I expect Brady to continue to do that for him. So, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My final score, I'm going to go 41-27. And just for you guys.
Oh, there it is. The Super Bowl jersey. One of the many items of Michael Bullock's Tom Brady collection.
Well, I don't just have the white one. I also have the
home one.
The black one.
Yeah, the home alternate one there.
Yeah.
So that's how devoted he is to Tom Brady, folks. That's how much that and I got to give Bullock credit. I mean, I know how hard that had to have been for you, Bullock, considering all the history that Tom Brady made, and without him, your New England Patriots would not be the household name that it is today. So, with all the history he made, all those Super Bowl wins, and all those divisional titles and conference titles and what have you, but I got to give Bullock credit. I mean, that is loyalty, if you ask me. That is loyalty beyond anything else. So, but I'll tell you right now, if Tom Brady had signed with either Buffalo, Miami, or the Jets, that would not be happening.
Oh no, that wouldn't be happening. But as I said, I mean, it's hard to root against someone that brought your original team, the Patriots, the success they had for 20 years.
Yeah, and with all due respect, on behalf of MF and myself, 20 years too many. But but that's neither here nor there. But anyways, getting back to the serious business, all kidding aside, yeah, it's Tampa. I mean, what to watch for? It's rare that a team manages to come away with a victory, being -3 in the turnover margin. But the Buccaneers did that against the Cowboys in that opening Thursday night game. Cutting down on those mistakes against Atlanta will be key. On the other side of things, how long will Falcons coach Arthur Smith stick with the run against the league's top-ranked run defense over the past 2 years? Especially since the Cowboys didn't need it last week after getting chunk plays through the air against the Tampa Bay secondary that had issues tackling. The Bucs will also be without starting cornerback Sean Murphy-Bunting. Bold prediction, Matt Ryan will have a 300-yard, 3-touchdown day against Tampa Bay, but it still results in a loss. The Falcons will find a way to get on track offensively. Ryan had 621 yards and 5 touchdowns in 2 games against Tampa last year. But Tom Brady will have a 300-yard day of his own to counteract Atlanta's offensive discovery and send the Falcons to 0-2. Stat to know, Brady has a career record of 8-0 against the Falcons, including a win in Super Bowl 51, as Bullock mentioned. According to Elias Sports Bureau, Brady looks to become the 6th quarterback to go 9-0 or better against a single team since starts were first tracked in 1950. For fantasy, playoffs included, wideout Antonio Brown has run more than 25 routes 8 times in his Bucs career, including last week with 36 routes. Tampa has won 5 of those games, and AB has found the end zone in all 5. Betting nugget, weeks 8 and 9 last season were the last time Tampa Bay failed to cover consecutive games, playoffs included. Tampa, big-time FPI favorite, 78.1% going with Tampa. I'm going with Tampa as well. 35-24, Tampa Bay beats Atlanta. Not much more to say. MF, champs keep on rolling, I'm sure.
Agreed. Champs keep on rolling. I think they'll get the job done. There's really nothing more to add. You guys pretty much said it. So next up.
Yep. Now we go to the 425 games. The two 425 games, and these will both be on CBS. Two good ones. Two very good ones, as far as I'm concerned. It's going to be first up, the Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the Los Angeles Chargers from the home of Super Bowl 56, SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California. And this is a game that you would normally see on Fox because it's NFC at AFC, but this is part of that cross-flexing. So I'm glad after Fox stole a couple from us, I'm glad we at least got one back. So, and what a one to get back here. This has potential to be a sleeper matchup here. And on the call for this one, hello, friends. Yes, Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson, they'll be at SoFi for this one. Chargers opening, believe it or not, the Chargers are opening up as 3-point favorites. Dallas leads the all-time series 6-5, but the Chargers have won each of the last 3 meetings against Dallas. Their last meeting, 2017 in Dallas, Chargers, then the San Diego Chargers won 28-6. Last meeting when the Chargers were the home team, 2013, that was in San Diego. Chargers won 30-21. Dallas has not won at the Chargers since week 1 of 2005. I remember this very vividly. It was opening week 2005. Dallas last won at the Chargers. That's also the last time they beat the Chargers, by the way, 28-24. So I believe I covered all the schematics. So here we go. What to watch for? Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert will be looking for Austin Eckler through the air this week after the running back didn't have a catch in week 1. LA coach Brandon Staley has said the team needs to work Eckler into the passing game. On the other side, the Cowboys need a big day from their offense to avoid an 0-2 start. Bold prediction, Dak Prescott will not throw for 400 yards. Not bold enough? In the past 4 games that he has started and finished, he has thrown for at least 403 yards. He is the first player in league history with 4 400-yard games in a 5-game span. He has 8 400-yard passing games since 2016, most in the NFL. But the Cowboys are just 1-3 in those 4 games. And no, that is not a long-term formula for success. Maybe he throws for just 399 instead. Stat to know, the Cowboys are looking to avoid their first 0-2 start since 2010. The only time they have started 0-2 with both games on the road was in 1989. And while the Chargers have won the past 3 games versus Dallas, they are 0-3 against Mike McCarthy-led teams. For fantasy, the Cowboys are a 3-point underdog, so Prescott managers have their opponent right where they want them. In his past 3 losses, Prescott is averaging 57.7 passes and 30.7 fantasy points a game. Betting nugget, the Chargers covered their final 2 home games of 2020 after failing to cover 7 of their previous 9 games at their place. And just like with the Buffalo prediction, the FPI has the Chargers at 50.2%. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm actually going to go with the Chargers in this one. I think the Chargers can win this one, especially with this being their first game with fans at SoFi Stadium. You know that's going to give them momentum. So, but I would not be at all surprised if Dallas wins. This is the other tough game to call, but I'm going with the Chargers here. 27-23, Chargers eke out the Cowboys. MF, all I can say is we saw it with the Rams last week. Now we're going to get it with the Chargers, but how great is it to see SoFi Stadium, that beautiful mega stadium, finally with fans?
Yeah, it looks amazing, and it looks like it's at home. It feels home for them. Look, this is going to be a tough game because of the Chargers. Because Chargers are always Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You never know what type of team you're going to get. I think the best way to say is that, at the way that it goes is that the Chargers has a good team, with Justin Herbert, and he looks amazing under the pocket. But the thing is, they shoot themselves in the foot way too many times, it's like great team, but you never get a type of a situation where they win these games or anything else like that. So you never know what happens. I'm going to say the Chargers as well because Dallas has too many injuries. And I think that's what it was. If there wasn't enough injuries on the offensive side of the ball, Dallas wins this going away. But I got to go with the Chargers here too. So Chargers win. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, and Fletch, it's not just offensively for the Cowboys, but defensively too. Um, yeah, so yeah, because one of the key defensive players for the Cowboys is going to be out for a while. So yeah, so and because of that, I'm going to make it unanimous, and I'm going to go with the LA Chargers as well. So nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
All right, 3 games left, and we move on to our final late game, the 425, and another good one here. We got the Tennessee Titans squaring off against the Seattle Seahawks, CenturyLink Field in Seattle, or Lumen Field, I believe it's now known as, in Seattle. This will be over on CBS. Andrew Catalon, James Lofton, Cherie Burris will be on the call, and Seattle opening up as a 6.5-point favorite, and just trying to find my notes here. When it comes to the all-time series, Seattle leads the all-time series 10-6. Their last meeting was in Nashville, 2017. Tennessee won 33-27. Last meeting in Seattle, 2013. Seahawks won 20-13. Tennessee last won in Seattle in 2009. That was a 17-13 win. But MF, Tennessee, Seattle, number 3 game of the week on our end. Sexy matchup here. Very attractive matchup here. Derrick Henry, Russell Wilson. I expect a lot. I don't know. Is this the game where Derrick Henry will bounce back after Arizona manhandled them, or will his struggles continue against a red-hot Russell Wilson?
I think Russell will do fine. I think the offense will do fine. Somebody woke up the Legion of Boom. Somebody woke up that defense. That defense, I think they got a little annoyed by all of the critics and everybody else saying, "Oh, you thought we had a bad defense? You thought we actually you thought we lost a step or two, or we hear about how the Legion of Boom was our heyday? Watch this." And they exploded. So Derrick Henry, buyers beware, my friend. I don't know, because if they start stacking the box, I think they're gonna try to shut you down again. I'm gonna go with Seattle to win. Plus, you're at home with that 12th man. Forget it. You're not losing at home. So, you talk about how the crowd and everything else, Anthony. Yeah, try going into the loudest stadium in all of the NFL and try to beat them in that building.
Ugh,
Good luck.
okay.
So I'm going to say nothing more to say here. I got the Seattle Seahawks winning this game. All right, Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that Legion of Boom was definitely back last week. Yeah, I feel bad for Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, and especially with them going into Seattle with the 12th man. Yeah, good luck to any visiting team to try to win a game there, because it's a tough environment there. So I got Seattle winning this one as well. So Florio, it's yours.
All right. What to watch for? Seattle's defense must be licking its chops after watching the Titans allow 6 sacks in their blowout loss to Arizona in Week 1. The Seahawks got to Carson Wentz early and often in their opener in Indy. Now their pass rushers will have the added advantage of the crowd noise at Lumen Field, which could be as loud as ever, with fans in attendance for the first time in a regular season game since December 2019. Bold prediction, the Titans will score a touchdown on their first drive. That's saying a lot, considering how Tennessee gained a total of only 4 yards on their first 4 drives last week. The Seahawks are playing in their 2021 home opener at Lumen Field, where they allowed opposing offenses to score a touchdown on the opening drive only twice last season. Stat to know, the Titans have allowed more than 35 points in their past 3 regular season games, and with Russell Wilson putting on a 4-touchdown performance in Week 1, it is entirely possible that Titan streak continues. Wilson followed up the 2020 opener with 5 passing touchdowns in consecutive games. For fantasy, in the Titans' past 5 losses, playoffs included, Derrick Henry has touched the ball 100 times and has not scored once. How about that? Betting nugget, the Titans have failed to cover 3 straight regular season games twice in the past calendar year, includes an active streak. The FPI favors Seattle 70.5%. It's about 71% going with Seattle. I'm going with Seattle, but I think it's going to be closer than you think. I'm going to say 30-24, Seattle over Tennessee. 2 games left, and it's the prime times. We're going prime time here. The 2 prime time games, and oh boy. In terms of the matchup number, the matchup rating on my ESPN notes, no surprise this game had the highest rating. It came in with a rating of almost 85. It's the Kansas City Chiefs squaring off against the Baltimore Ravens, Sunday Night Football on NBC, M&T Bank Stadium, Baltimore, Maryland. You know who's working this. As always, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Kansas City opening up as a 4-point favorite. And the series history favors the Kansas City Chiefs 7-3. They won the last meeting in Baltimore was last year. That was on a Monday night. Kansas City won that one 34-20. Matter of fact, the Chiefs have won the last 4 meetings in a row against the Ravens, including the last 2 in Baltimore last year. And the previous meeting in Baltimore, 2015, that was a 34-14 final. The Ravens have not beaten the Chiefs at home since 2009. That was a 38-24 final. I think I've covered all the schematics here. So Michael Bullock, 1-0 against 0-1. Usually doesn't scream game of the week, but who cares? It's still the game of the week, though. Chiefs, Ravens, you know who it's all about. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Every time they get together, it's fun. And you better believe it's going to be as fun as ever.
And you know the question on everyone's mind: can Lamar Jackson finally beat Patrick Mahomes? Because it hasn't happened. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has always come out on top here. So yeah, that Ravens defense is really going to have its hands full here. They're really going to have to try to slow him and those weapons down. And we all found out, and especially the Cleveland Browns, it doesn't matter how many points you score. With that offense, Kansas City is never out of a game, and we found that out last week. So I'm sorry to all you Ravens fans. You think this is the time for Lamar Jackson to finally get that first win against Patrick Mahomes? It ain't going to happen, because that Kansas City offense is just too damn good. Kansas City wins. Florida, what's yours?
Oh, yeah. What to watch for? Patrick Mahomes has diced up the Ravens' defense in 3 meetings, with the Chiefs averaging 31.3 points a game. Baltimore's defense looked vulnerable Monday night when it allowed 33 points in Las Vegas, but the Ravens have never given up more than 30 points in each of their first 2 games of a season. Bold prediction, Mahomes will complete 6 throws of at least 20 yards. Those plays are always there for him against a Ravens team that blitzes a lot but leaves itself vulnerable to big throws. He has 16 such plays in 3 career starts against the Ravens, who come into this game with a depleted secondary. Stat to know, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson have the 2 highest total QBRs among quarterbacks to appear in 10-plus primetime games since the metric began in 2006. Mahomes has an 8-game winning streak in primetime contests, the longest active streak of any quarterback. Jackson is 0-3 in his career versus the Chiefs, largely due to accuracy issues, failing to complete 55% of his passes in any of those 3 matchups. For fantasy, Chiefs wideout Tyreek Hill has 310.6 fantasy points over his last 12 games, playoffs included. How good is that? Texas wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins had, or Arizona wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins had 287.8 points in 16 games last season. Betting nugget, Mahomes is 8-3 against the spread for his career in September. Kansas City opening up as the FPI favorite, 55.7%, about 56% going with Kansas City. I'm going with Kansas City to win as well. I think it's gonna be close for about 3 quarters, but I think in the fourth, KC will pull away slightly. So I'm gonna say 30-20. Kansas City beats Baltimore tomorrow night on Sunday Night Football. MF. I know a lot of people are saying we thought for sure this was going to be the Tony and Mikey special, but even though it's not, it's our number 2 game of the week behind the Vegas and Pittsburgh because of the records. But Kansas City and Baltimore, MF, I mean, how much fun we could have had with this one.
It's another great game. Yeah, this would have been a great matchup. But we've done this game so many times in the past. You know, it doesn't get any better than this. But I'm gonna go with Kansas City as well. Just too many weapons, and I just feel like they're gonna figure it out. So Kansas City wins. Anthony, there's only one game left.
Indeed, there is, and it's Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football on ESPN, and just got to set up my notes here. Well, the series history anyway. All right. Monday Night Football, 8:15 kickoff on ESPN. The Detroit Lions squaring off against the Green Bay Packers from Lambeau Field in Green Bay, home opener for the Packers. Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, Louis Riddick, Lisa Salters on ESPN. And there's a new thing that they're doing, Peyton and Eli Manning on ESPN too. I've heard that got rave reviews, and I'm sure it's going to get rave reviews once again. Green Bay opening up as an 11.5-point favorite in this one, and rightfully so, because this has been a one-sided rivalry in the NFL over the years. Here's how lopsided it is. Green Bay leads the all-time series 102-72 with 7 ties. And the Packers have won each of the last 4 meetings against the Lions. They've swept each of the last 2 years. And they've won the last 2 meetings in Green Bay, including last year, 42-21 Green Bay did. Detroit last one at Lambeau, 2018, 31-0 beat down there. So I believe I actually start this one off. So I'll close this one out. What to watch for? How will the Lions try to defend Aaron Rodgers and the Packers offense? The Saints blitzed him just twice and focused their efforts on taking away Devontae Adams and company. Will that serve as a blueprint for future opponents? What the Lions do and how well they do it might help determine what kind of coverages Rodgers sees throughout the season. Bold prediction, and this is one expert's opinion. This is not necessarily mine, but the Lions could and will pull off their first upset of the Dan Campbell and Jared Goff era. Yes, the odds of this happening are slim, but you could pick Detroit to win at Lambeau Field against a vulnerable Green Bay team. Detroit's running back duo of DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams will give the Packers problems, since most teams in the NFC North aren't used to facing a Lions team with a solid ground game. Stat to know, the Packers offense was bad in week 1, but maybe there's a silver lining. In 2 games following a 25-point loss under coach Matt LaFleur, Rodgers has thrown 4 touchdown passes in each. For fantasy, Rodgers had no touchdown passes and 2 interceptions week 1 against New Orleans and Jacksonville. He has never had back-to-back games with 0 passing touchdowns as a starter. Betting nugget, the over hit in all 3 divisional games at Lambeau last season, 1-4 in the other 5 regular season games Green Bay hosted. Green Bay, FPI favorite, 67.4% for Green Bay. I'm going to now, would I be surprised if Detroit stole this one? I would not, but I think Green Bay will bounce back, but it's not going to be as easy as you think. I don't know if they've gotten their issues under control yet, but I think Green Bay will find a way to win this one. I'm going to say 23-17. Green Bay barely gets by Detroit. But MF, all I can say is if Green Bay loses this game, it's going to be damn near time to push our favorite, the panic button.
Are you kidding me? If Green Bay loses this game, batten down the hatches. Don't even. It's going to be a rough week. It's going to be such a rough week because on top of that, you got guys on. It would be a riot. There will be a riot. That's all I'm going to say. It will not be a good week for the Green Bay Packers if they lose. I think they'll bounce back. I think they'll win this game. There's really nothing more to add. Bullock, you got the final say tonight.
Yeah, my final say is I got Green Bay winning this one, and yeah, it's not even going to be close. So there's really nothing more to say. Florio, let's put a bow on this.
Yes, and that will put the bow on this very long night of our belated season premiere of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday. We want to thank you all so much for staying up late with us. I do apologize for that lengthy delay beforehand, but those things do happen, and they always do. So hopefully we'll be better next time. So that will put the bow on this. We want to thank you all so very much for staying up with us and tuning in. We'll be back with you Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, right back here on the Tone 25 as we start the Big E era. Big E, the new WWE champion after cashing in Money in the Bank, will be in Raleigh at the PNC Arena. And, we'll find, we got some big things, including a humongous main event. Big E and the New Day teaming up against the Universal Champion and the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Bloodline. Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, and the Usos against Big E and the New Day. Interpromotional main event. So maybe a little sampling of Survivor Series right there 2 months early. But other big things that were announced, we'll get into that on Monday night as well. Wednesday, of course, Wednesday Night Mayhem. MF will have that. Brace Fan 95 as we will run down NXT 2.0. And, of course, maybe the most anticipated AEW Dynamite of all time. Arthur Ashe Stadium, headlined by Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson. Enough said. Thursday, College Football Thursday, Week 4 edition. 2 huge games on that big docket. Notre Dame against Wisconsin from Soldier Field in Chicago. And this just became a Game of the Week contender. Texas A&M against Arkansas in Jerry World. Let's go. So that's Thursday night. Friday night, we got Cerebral Smack Talk. Big show there. Friday Night SmackDown, AEW Rampage, and a preview of Extreme Rules on top of that. So, but we'll have to figure something out because remember, AEW Rampage Friday night is going to be a 2-hour show. So we're going to have to put our heads together on that one. And then right back here next Saturday night for NFL Saturday, some of the notable games on that schedule. The Washington football team against my Buffalo Bills. Chicago Bears against the Cleveland Browns. The LA Chargers against the Kansas City Chiefs. Cincinnati Bengals against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Indianapolis Colts against the Tennessee Titans. Miami Dolphins and the Las Vegas Raiders after that Christmas Day or after Christmas fun fest they had. Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the LA Rams. Seattle Seahawks, Minnesota Vikings. Green Bay Packers, San Francisco 49ers, and the Eagles and the Cowboys. So a lot to look forward to next week. So with that being said, that'll do it. So and that'll be next Saturday night. So with that, until Monday night, for Ridiculously Raw, Anthony Florio here. For good old MF Michael Fletcher. For Michael Bullock. And in spirit, Didi Woodson. And always and forever, the Yankee Messiah 401, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune Force style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching our belated season premiere, week 2 of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday, right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.